and it's called Many Skies. I am under my father's sky. It stretches from horizon to horizon. It surrounds the world entire. This is the sky my father walked under when he was my age. The sky my mother looked to as she became an adult. The sky they both live under. I am under that very sky. While one sister sleeps hundreds of miles away on the Washington coast and the other sits reading under Colorado moon, while my father, my brother, my mother all work in the same city, different places, I am in Arizona contemplating the sky that binds us. After all, my roommate is from China. While I return home in the winter, he stays in Flagstaff. He has come much farther to learn here. Yet he is under the same sky. I cannot pretend to know his situation simply because we are both far from home at college. Putting things into perspective does not mean ignoring our own pain because others is worse. It means recognizing we are both in pain, but to differing levels. So I sit out the waves of homesickness. I am under my father's sky, I remind myself. This same sky watches over placid ocean and racking storm, peaceful opening of arms to refugees and the wars which ravage lives and land alike. The same sky is above the entire world and has seen the rise and fall of cities, nations, empires, periods of life and extinction, mountains forming and eroding, continents shifting. This same sky has seen most of the world's history, and it sees the world now. I am under the same sky as all my family. The same sky my ancestors looked at, the same sky humanity's ancestors saw, yet the ground beneath my feet feels so alien here. I stand before my grandfather's headstone. In the ground beneath my feet, the body of my father's father lies. But he is not there. He died almost a year ago. His body is but an empty vessel. I do not know what occurs beyond the veil of death. That is for the dead to know. The living must focus on the world we are given to live in. Shall we leave it better after our life? My father's father died almost a year ago. Once I would have said that his blood is in the veins of my father, which is in my veins also. But my father was unlike my grandfather. In large part, he is who he is in spite of him. But my father is also the man he is today because of my grandfather, and my grandmother, and my uncle, and so many others who have shaped him over his life. I am no more my father than he was my grandfather. For all of my talk of ancestors and unbroken bloodlines, where do I fit into my own rhetoric? I do not want children of my own blood. I am unsure I want children at all. In a worldview where we are part of a continuous line of blood and bone and lineage, where do I stand as a person who does not plan to bear that line past my own life? For all my talk of lineage and unified bonds of life, why do I not feel the profound pull from my grandfather's grave that grips my heart when hearing the family histories? Is he too recent in my family tree, too real to put on the venerated level of ancient ancestors I may never meet? Though he was not one for words or emotions, though he was stubborn to the end and cut off in his own world at times, he loved my father and my uncle. He cared for my grandma. He loved us. Of that I am sure. Why then can I not mourn him? Where are the tears for my father's father? I was not there when he died. I did not attend his funeral. His death was in the back of my thoughts for many months until I came to where he lived, to visit the family who outlives him, to join in the unveiling of his headstone. I stand before my grandfather's grave. The stones that mark the mourner's passage are laid upon it, a promise he has not forgotten. The words written by my father and his brother, opening this small monument to my father's father, have been said. Even I recited the poem of so many in brief. Do not stand at my grave and weep. Yet as I stand before my grandfather's grave, I cannot mourn. Do not mourn past grief. Do not insult the dead with sentiments you do not feel. I feel that my grandfather lives on in those he knew, in those lives he affected in his own living. He is not truly dead. That is the feeling I know about ancestors and lineage, that they are not dead when we still live. Yet how many of my ancestors would claim me as their own? I do not follow the religions of my ancestors. I do not speak their tongues. I am a queer child. I have never seen the lands they left. The world they lived in was so different from my own. Even the worlds of my grandparents and parents lived in are different to the one I know. I last saw my grandfather alive, yet now he is dead. I did not see his body, empty vessel of a departed soul. I am not physically tied to my ancestors. My blood is my own, my body is my own. I am not my ancestors, yet who they were and are affects me. Their genes have been passed down in me, though not their flesh. Their names have been passed into memory, their lands have changed, the people uprooted. How far back do I trace myself? Can I, in good faith, call myself close to those earliest of humans, ancestors of all humanity? I am, as are all people, one of their descendants. Yet in the eons of time, the shift of peoples, the death and birth of cultures, the rise and fall of seas and nations separate me from them. We are all connected in some way, but how strongly? I am under a reborn sky. It belongs to none of us. It is above all of us. The sky is new each day, just as we are each reborn with each sweep of time. How connected am I to my grandfather? How connected am I to the child I once was? Both are physically gone, both are in different ways dead, yet both live on. Just as my grandfather lives on in all those lives he touched, just as my father will live on in the lives he influences, just as I will live on in those I change, I am under a night sky. I have lived a year away from home and weathered homesick and nostalgia. I have seen the grave of my grandfather. I have hugged my grandmother for the uncounted time in our lives. I have returned to the home I was raised in. I have spent another year growing, changing, moving farther from who I once was. I am reborn each day just as the world is. The ground beneath my feet has seen many people. It has seen much death and torrents of life. The ground beneath my feet has changed many hands. The sky will always be above us all. I am not my ancestors. I am not my parents. I am myself. I am shaped by so many things. By the time I die, I will be so different from who I was born. I am not my ancestors. I am me. Yet I am tied to my bloodlines, bound to life itself. Fate is what we make of it, though we are not masters of the universe. We are who we choose, though the decisions of those before us shape ours. I am under the same sky, whatever lands I stand on. I am my own soul. I make my own way, though I do not make it alone. Billions move through life at the same time I do. Billions more have passed into death as I will. I can choose who I consider family. I cannot choose how I was born. I can align my body with my soul. I can choose who I become. I am connected to my ancestors, part of life itself. I can shape the others I meet in our lives. I stand on the ground beneath the sky, though I do not stand alone. In the place I stand, countless lives have stood before. We are all bound to all things, but not tightly enough to stop us making our own way. I have survived every day so far. I plan to keep breaking that record. So the sky today is no more the same than the first sky over a lifeless earth. The land today is no less alien than the surface of a boiling earth. I decide who I am and who I will become. I know only that I am alive. I cannot say what the world would be like if history had run a different course. I cannot say what lies beyond death. I only know that I am alive now, and that now is the time to change the world for the better in ways big and small, to bring a smile to one person on a bad day, to aid those struggling to survive for a lifetime. I am under the sky. I am here now.